Hi, my name is Daisy Garner, and I'm going to be sharing with you my presentation on autism. This is for my EDU 355 class. Always unique, totally interesting, and sometimes mysterious. That describes all the people with autism. The statistics. According to the CDC, 1 in 36 8-year-old children are identified with ASD, or autism spectrum disorder. There is no cure, but there are many effective treatments, including behavior, speech, and occupational therapy. When in school, students are able to receive support. However, after the students age out of school, it is becoming rapidly challenging to find support for the student. Teachers need to be familiar with this to familiar with autism and what their child's needs are in the classroom to help support the students in their classroom. Autism is a spectrum. Each person is different. There are five autism spectrum disorders: autism disorder, childhood distinct, distinctive disorder, Asperger's syndrome, Rett syndrome, pervasive developmental disorder. Autism refers to the neurological disorder involving serious impairment of ability to interact and communicate socially, and repetitive and restrictive interests and activities. Autism is also referred to as autism spectrum disorder, or ASD. Is a group of developmental brain disorder. Autism ranges in symptoms, skills, and impairment, which is why it has the word autism spectrum disorder. Understanding the spectrum. There's a wide range of skills possible with autism. Some people with autism have an excellent vocabulary and a high IQ, but limited conversation and social skills and restricted interest. Others may be nonverbal with a very low IQ. Not all people with delayed language or behavioral issues have autism. These are some signs of autism. A lot of people with autism have don't really know how to play with toys and stuff. They have inappropriate play. Their inability to relate to others. So they don't know how to play with others or how to get along. They really struggle. Inappropriate laughing or crying. Hyperactivity. Oversensitive or undersensitive to sound. A lot of these children in our classrooms may not be able to go to assemblies or ball games or the cafeteria. They will really struggle with those. They have a strange attachment to just odd things. They may have a favorite toy that they are really attached to, and that's all they want to talk about. They have poor speech or a lack of speech. Difficulty with dealing with change. So these kids have really hard time with anything change. I know, for instance, I've had one child who's in my class who's had a really hard time one morning, and it threw the whole day off because on Tuesdays they ate sausage biscuits. Well, that morning his mom happened to be out of sausage biscuits, and so she switched it over to a bacon biscuit, and that was the wrong kind of biscuit. So it just threw his whole day off. They also have a lack of awareness of danger. So they may not realize that, walking in a car, walking in front of a car, walking up a street, or jumping off things that are high, they could get hurt. They really struggle with those. These are some ways that you can include kids that the laws that include the ADA, which is the American with Disabilities Act, prohibits discrimination against Americans with physical and mental disabilities in such areas as employment, public accommodations, and transportation. It prohibits job descriptions, and it prohibits um, schools, public services, museums, restaurants. All things must accommodate. An kids that ways that they can be included in a classroom and things that these kids need to help them do their daily thing would be an activity schedule. This helps where the kid knows what's going on. They don't do well if they don't know what's going on. They need to be able to see what they're doing. Activity schedule teaches skills by using a set of images and written words. Community schedule can be used to help a person understand the order of activities. So it's kind of like a first then type thing. So it may be first you work, then you get to play with this toy, or first then. It also helps that they know that, hey, it's coming up that we're going to different places. So they know, like, we're getting a haircut or we're going to a ball game. You can include all kinds of things. So it's not just at school that they use this, it could be in their daily activities at home. There's some inclusion strategies. Recognize each person's challenges and abilities. So in the classroom, it's very important that we know what their challenges and their abilities are. So feed off of these abilities and try will really make it easier for this kid and make them included more in the classroom. Provide appropriate modifications. Special programs are appropriate, but should not take the place of approaches. So make sure that they all get special programs and they're pulled to do what they need, but they also need to be included so they don't feel lonely or left out of their classroom. Modify expectations for the length of assignments. These are some ways that you could use inclusion in the classroom for students with autism. Limit distractions and noise in the class. Accommodate students' assessments for them to demonstrate knowledge. Create a comfortable classroom setting in which the students feel safe and secure. Establish routines and schedules. Use visuals to create social stories. Create behavioral plans. Create peer tutor support. Classroom implications. When a child with autism enters the classroom system, it's essential to determine his or her academic and social needs in the classroom. Children with autism tend to struggle with organization, which makes it difficult for them to complete work and transition between classes in order to help students in the classroom. Visual schedules help with these throughout the day. They know exactly what to do. They may need multiple steps. Children also may have difficulty with multiple steps, so may need smaller steps and breaks in between assignments. They, like we said, the visuals are key. Children with autism have experienced social isolation. So, like I said earlier, we need to make sure that we're including them. We're not pulling them out, and we're finding ways and finding what they are good at so that they can be included in the classroom and be part of the classroom so that they're not left out. I know another way that they may have difficulty with transitions, so they may need a 5 minute warning, or to know that, hey, where it's going to be time. And they have a lot of difficulty a lot of times, I know, with switching if they're not completed with their work. So they may need an extension so they know, oh, I can finish this, or it's okay, we're going to put it away, we're going to and move on. So they get a 5 minute warning to know, hey, you got 5 minutes. Families often need help with it. Parents should be involved in both the child's assessments and their decision making. It takes place at the home, these intellectual developments. Parents or families play the most important role. So they're the first ones. They're there. They're there to advocate for their child, and they're there to collaborate and help identify the skills to target for development. Parents are the ones that they take place, including activities in the school, home, and community. Examples of some parental participation and student involvement include activities such as classroom volunteering, maintain frequent communication with the teacher, attend school sponsored events. So make sure that it's the parents' job and the family's job to make sure their child is part of the school and that they recognize that they are part of the school so they do not feel isolated. The school's implementation implications. And everyone involved in the life of this child with autism, or any child at the school, need to know how to deal with these kids. It's important. Like, if you're the office personnel, you may not think that it's important, but you're maybe the first one to realize, especially with a kid with autism, like we talked about, that their schedule is off. They're late to school and they're going to struggle. So you need to be able to know what to do in order to help make the transition a little easier. It, there's the cafeteria. The cafeteria ladies play a big role because it's usually loud in there, and these kids may get down there and they may want pizza, and you may have just run out of pizza. So it may be so everyone in the school system is plays a very important role with kids with autism. My summary and my big ideas: students with autism need extra support in the classroom and at home to continue to grow and develop academically, behaviorally, and social. It's essential to be aware of all the new characteristics of the DSMV and the diagnostic criteria of autism to refer to as a child with testing for early identification. No two students with autism are exactly the same in their development, communication, and behavior. It is important to use research based instruction to help make growth in students' progress. We must teach behavior and social skills to students with autism to ensure they know what is appropriate at various times. Will you be able to make a difference and spread the word to increase autism awareness? You can. You can use your researches and help us spread the word and meet the needs of every child with autism, child or adult. Thank you very much.